Thanks, Regina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Regina Davidson, and I am a single mother of four. And when school lets out, my main priority is to keep them safe and occupied. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, so we don't have a lot of support here. But the Reroute program has become that support for my family. Through weekly mentorship, monthly field trips, my children are active, safe, and learning new things in the community. Together, they've supported us with community advocacy, transportation, as well as guided encouragement during stressful times. This program has made a meaningful and impactful difference in our lives. So I'm truly grateful for the Reroute program, and I hope all of the children in the city of Columbus have a safe and fun summer. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Andrew Ginther.
Thanks, Regina. Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful morning here on the south side. It's great to be back in Fairwood Park, and I'm excited to be here today with Regina. And I want to thank Chief Bryant, First Assistant Chief Potts, Assistant Chief Bodker, all the women and men of the Columbus Division of Police, Columbus Recreation and Parks, the Columbus Department of Health, the Office of Violence Prevention, community partners, and helping to keep our neighborhoods safe and our kids engaged this summer. I want to thank you all for being here as well. We're here in Fairwood Park to talk about safety as we enter the summer months. I was in this park just a few years ago, right around dusk, and it was pitch dark. And the people that live in this neighborhood that use this park every day demanded action. And I'm glad we as a city have delivered. We're going to be doing a lighting ceremony later this summer to celebrate their advocacy and their reclaiming of this park as a safe place for children, seniors, and families, and excited of that partnership with Recreation and Parks Director Reese is here, and I want to thank her for her commitment to that as well. The park is also part of our Zone 5 2026 Crime Strategy Plan, meaning we have regular bike and directed patrols circulating through the park to keep everyone safe. This park belongs to the community, and we have great parks all over our city that we want filled with families and children enjoying these great amenities. This is just one example of the work we're doing every day to make our parks, our neighborhoods, our entire city safer. Today is the last day of school for Columbus City Schools. So you may see a lot more children skipping around sidewalks with big smiles who are excited about their summers. So this is when we need to step up our efforts as a community to make sure our kiddos are safe in neighborhoods throughout the city this summer. When you look at the big picture, shootings and homicides are trending down. Even with a 30% population growth as a city, since 2000, we're experiencing the lowest number of homicides and violent crime we've seen since then. A 30-year low. The city is investing in youth programs, violence interruption, outreach, and safe spaces. Our progress, in no small part, thanks in no small part to the work of Chief Bryant and the women and men of the Columbus Division of Police. In a few minutes, they'll fill you in on their plans to increase patrols and community engagement this summer so we can keep these positive safety trends going. We can't pat ourselves in the back and take anything for granted. We got to wake up every day and fight for neighborhood and community safety in our city, and we're going to do that together. This city is investing in youth programs, violence interruption, outreach, and safe spaces like never before, and we're excited to share more of those plans with you today. Pleased to say that among the highlights, Operation Moonlight will start June 1st and last through Labor Day. That means our officers in parks, pools, and at community events doing engagement and enforcement. And that's critically important as we continue to bring the police and community closer together. The Safe Streets program will be using proactive bicycle patrols, not only to have more eyes on the streets, but also to have more interactions with the neighbors they serve. Simultaneously, our Office of Violence Prevention is working with schools, youth organizations, correctional facilities, and community groups to train and educate on healthy relationships and conflict de-escalation and resolution. The office has already engaged nearly 3,000 neighbors this year. They've been working with community organizations on Safe Passage, a program to reduce violence before and after school. They have also, since school is now out, they're working with our community violence intervention partners to develop a coordinated plan to place interventionists at Columbus pools this summer to address conflicts before violence occurs. The office will also be unveiling a citywide summer safety campaign. This includes OVP going directly into neighborhoods that have been statistically most impacted, disproportionately impacted by gun violence, to promote peace and to offer resources. And our Recreation and Parks Department, under the leadership of Director Reese, is also providing 105 community organizations with nearly $7.5 million in funding so they can sponsor summer programs that keep our young people safe, active, and healthy this summer. Their late night basketball events and summer camps and lunches also help our kids to have a healthy and safe summer. And Recreation and Parks Reroute Program, in partnership with Columbus Public Health, does a lot of great work, as Regina shared with us. We do all this because summer in Columbus should mean kids playing outside, families spending time together, parks and pools full, and neighborhoods alive with opportunity, not violence. But the city cannot do this alone. Each summer, I ask Columbus parents to know where their kids are and who they're hanging out with. If you don't have a curfew in your household, I'd consider putting one in place. I know there's one in my household. Check their phones and social media and know what they have with them when they go out. Check their rooms and possessions to make sure that they don't have anything where they could harm themselves or others. And today, I also want to talk to another group of influencers, father figures, aunts and uncles, older brothers, sisters, cousins, coaches, and mentors. Whether you know it or not, you hold tremendous power, the power of influence. Young people listen to the people they respect. Your influence is stronger than city government, and you can use it to save lives in our community. We use police data from the last few years to build the Safer Together 614 education campaign because a large percentage of homicides started as a simple dispute. The campaign is based on the fact that young people are too often taught the wrong lessons, that every insult demands retaliation, that every disagreement requires escalation, that violence equals respect. But I want to tell you today that one respected voice can stop a bad decision before it turns tragic. Real strength is discipline and self-control. Real maturity is protecting people, not hurting them. The strongest person in the room is usually the calmest one. An argument is not worth a life. A social media comment is not worth a life. A moment of anger can steal decades, maybe a lifetime, of someone's future. We can work this summer, starting right now, to change that culture together. The city's OVP has educational resources on their website that can help you intervene when you see a potential conflict or a situation that may be escalating. They call it their 5 Ds of bystander intervention. And we can all do it. Pull someone aside. Drive a young person home. Tell them it's not worth it. We'll be working hard to keep our community safe this summer, but we'll have our greatest successes when we stand up for one another and work together. That's how we continue to get safer day by day. Now I'd like to bring up Assistant Chief Greg Botker to give you some more information about the police efforts this summer, and then First Assistant Chief LaShawna Potts will detail how the department does engagement with young people and a big part of the effort to not only do enforcement, but engagement with the community overall. Chief Botker?
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Ginther, Director Prashadi, Chief Elaine Bryant for their leadership and continued investment in public safety throughout our city. I'd also like to thank and recognize the officers, supervisors, professional staff, community leaders, and residents who work every day to keep this city safe. Today, we're here to announce the Columbus Division of Police 2026 Summer Safety Initiatives. This is a coordinated, citywide strategy designed to reduce violent crime, improve quality of life, strengthen community partnerships, and increase visibility in neighborhoods throughout Columbus. Our Summer Safety Initiative will officially begin the week of June 1st and continue through Labor Day weekend, tentatively concluding on September 7th. Throughout the summer, every patrol zone in the city will operate strategic enforcement and community engagement plans based on unique challenges facing their neighborhoods. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Each zone has developed strategies driven by crime trends, intelligence, community concerns, and officer experience in the precincts. As part of this Summer Safety Initiative, every zone will deploy additional officers into the field, many of them operating as bicycle patrols to increase visibility and improve direct interaction with residents, business owners, and visitors. These officers will attend block watch meetings, community events, festivals, and neighborhood gatherings, while also conducting focused enforcement operations. Throughout the city, officers will prioritize juvenile crime, working closely with our Organized Crime Bureau and the Next Gen Safety Initiative officers, analysts, and detectives. NGSI, as a reminder, is focused on identifying and interrupting chronic youth offending through evidence-based and offender-focused strategies. Officers will also focus on property crimes and crime prevention efforts around commercial areas. On some zones, officers will focus on traffic safety, street takeovers, and violent crime, while other zones will focus on community and city partnerships related to nightlife safety and homelessness concerns. In addition, these zone-based operations are also going to join Operation Moonlight, which begins Friday, June 5th. Operation Moonlight will primarily operate every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday throughout the summer months. Officers will be assigned during peak hours when we historically experience higher call volumes, larger gatherings, and increased criminal activity. This operation will place officers and supervisors into intelligence-led deployments focused on parks, festivals, and entertainment districts. They will also join special events throughout the city. Officers will maintain a dedicated presence in some commercial districts and other high-traffic locations identified through ongoing intelligence and operational analysis. I'd like to be clear about something. Summer safety and our efforts are not simply about enforcement from the Columbus Division of Police. They're also about prevention, visibility, accountability, and partnership. We know that long-term public safety requires strong relationships between police officers and the communities we serve. That's why these operations, all the ones that I've described, will include outreach engagement, collaboration with neighborhood leaders, youth organizations, faith groups, and community stakeholders. The Next Gen Safety Initiative is an example of that strategy. It focuses on identifying the relatively small number of chronic offenders driving a disproportionate amount of violence, while also building partnerships focused on intervention and prevention. NGSI examines three core elements: criminal history, crime frequency, and recency. And finally, criminal network involvement or influence. We also recognize that summer brings thousands of families, visitors, students, and young people into our parks just like this. They go to entertainment districts, they go to festivals, they go to neighborhoods. Our goal is really simple. It's for people to enjoy the city of Columbus safely. Residents should expect to see an even stronger police presence this summer. They should expect increased bike patrols, more officers engaging directly with the public, focused traffic enforcement, and rapid responses to any violence that may occur in our city. But they should also expect professionalism, fairness, and collaboration. I'd like to thank the men and women of the Columbus Division of Police who will work these operations throughout the summer, often sacrificing time with their families. Many of these officers are volunteering for additional assignments because they care deeply about our city and about the people that live in Columbus. I'd also like to thank our community partners, all of the residents of Columbus. Public safety is always strongest when the community and when law enforcement work together as partners. We're committed to making Columbus safe this summer, not only through enforcement, but through trust, visibility, accountability, and partnership. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce First Assistant Chief LaShawna Potts, who will share additional safety initiatives, partnerships, and intervention.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Ginther, Public Safety Director Pashadi, City Council, and you, the media, for all your support. As Mayor Ginther and Assistant Chief Bacher spoke to you about the amazing work being done by the collective, one thing that should be highlighted is the intentional work being done to keep our residents, neighborhoods, and young people safe this summer. As temperatures rise, we know historically that violence can increase. That is why we are taking a proactive, data-driven, and community-centered approach focused on prevention, intervention, enforcement, and long-term sustainability. One of our primary focuses this summer is on the ongoing attention and disruption of neighborhood drug houses within our community. These locations are not just nuisance properties, they are often directly connected to gun violence, human trafficking, addiction, and the exploitation of vulnerable individuals. To strengthen our efforts, we are adding community response team officers to organized crime this summer as liaisons with our intact narcotics detectives. This is a significant enhancement to our strategy because it creates consistency, improves efficiency, and strengthens our ability to investigate, enforce, and ultimately close down drug houses permanently. This initiative also provides valuable training opportunities for our patrol officers, allowing them to develop and progress patrol-based narcotics investigations. We are building stronger officers, stronger investigative capacity, and stronger collaboration across this division. Simply put, this will be a force multiplier. This initiative will be implemented citywide across all 6 patrol zones. Each zone will include 1 sergeant and 6 officers dedicated to this work. This means additional resources, enhanced intelligence sharing, and a focused effort to improve quality of life in every part of our city. As many of you are aware from our recent press conference with Gang Enforcement Team A and NextGen announcing the RICO indictment of 10 young persons, as well as the conviction of a parent involved in operating of a criminal enterprise, we continue to remain focused on enforcement and prosecution of targeted individuals who continue to perpetuate violence in our community. That case sent a very clear message. We will hold accountable anyone contributing to organized criminal activity that harms our neighborhoods. But we also recognize something critically important. Enforcement alone does not reduce violence long term. That is why we continue to invest heavily in prevention and intervention efforts. We are now entering our 2nd year of Beyond Enforcement, a 10-week collaborative initiative focused on holistic healing, mentorship, accountability, education, and opportunity for our young people. This program remains the only program approved by the Ohio Department of Corrections of its kind, and we are proud of the lives being positively impacted through this collaborative effort. We are also excited about a future collaboration involving a multitude of stakeholders, all united around one common goal: keeping our youth safe, alive, supported, and out of our detention centers. Our work would not be possible without our incredible partners, including the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, Franklin University, Public Health, Recreation and Parks, the Franklin County Coroner's Office, Grant Medical Center, Prosecutor's Office, City Attorney's Office, We Are Linden, Mothers of Murdered Columbus Children, therapist Stephanie Starks, Evergreen Funeral Home, and Columbus Violence Reduction under the header of Office of Violence Prevention, and many other committed supporters and stakeholders. We want to provide our young people with every resource, opportunity, and support system necessary for their success. There is more to come into this initiative later, and we are excited to share those details with our community soon. At the end of the day, public safety is not accomplished by law enforcement alone. It requires partnerships, trust, accountability, and collective commitment to protecting our neighborhoods and investing in our young people. We remain committed to doing that work every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, First Assistant Chief Potts. We'll open things up for questions. If there are any questions regarding summer safety or police-related community safety issues, we'll take those from the podium. If you want to ask me anything else under the sun, including how our Cavaliers got swept by the New York Knicks, I'll hang around and answer those, but I want to respect our other speakers' time. They got a few things on their schedules for the rest of the day. Any questions about today's announcement or public safety, police regarding questions? Yeah, George.
Mayor, maybe this is for the police. How is the city going to accomplish all this summer while trying to cut overtime by 40% this year to meet the budget?
Yeah, I think we both can address that. Yeah. We don't make these decisions in a vacuum. We have a tremendous, phenomenal team, and we evaluate every program and its necessity. And so even though we know overtime is a part of what we do, our officers oftentimes are volunteering for a lot of our community engagement initiatives. And so we know that overtime is a topic, but we also know that we have a job to do as a policing agency. And with the support of the mayor, we've been able to do tremendous work in these last 5 years. And I'm just excited about where we're going to see us go in the future.
Thank you, sir. I'll just add, you heard some common themes in both Chief Potts and my statements, and that is intelligence-led, strategic. And so I think when you drive operations with intelligence and you try to be strategic about that, I think you can also be cognizant of overtime expenses. Thank you.
And Jordan, the only other thing I would add is there are a lot of families in Central Ohio that are having to make tough choices, choose between what they need and what they would like to do. Public safety, there's a saying, don't tell me what your priorities are, show me your budget, and then I'll tell you what your priorities are. Public safety is our number one priority, and even in tough economic times, tight economic times, we're going to continue to invest and spend whatever it takes to keep this positive trend going. We want to be the safest big city in America, and the only way we get there is with police and community working together. Yes?
Of course, this positive trend so far this year has been amazing to see. There were some
The last couple of years.
Yes, there were some violent incidents though over the weekend, including
Yes.
double homicide last night where a mother and daughter were killed.
Terrible situation.
So going off of that, I mean, does this concern you heading into the summer? We've been making a lot of strides.
Every shooting, every homicide matters. It's one too many. And it doesn't matter what neighborhood. If they're in our community, they matter. That life lost matters. And we are less than, as a community, when a homicide takes place. We know that what we've been doing is working and that progress is being made, but we will not rest. We will not yield until we're the safest big city in America. And that's why the investments and the partnerships that are being led by Chief Bryan and shared today by First Assistant Chief Potts and Assistant Chief Otker. And the critically important work that Regina talked about is so important. It's not just folks in uniforms that are going to make us safer. You and I have a role to play in making this community safer.
Going off what Anna said, some of those incidents were related to domestic violence. I know domestic violence has been on your radar for quite some time. How will domestic violence prevention play a role in some of these programs?
Well, this is one of the things that I asked Director Rita Shack, who is here today and our leader of the Office of Violence Prevention, because homicides have come down dramatically over the last couple of years, but the percentage of homicides involving domestic violence or folks that are known to each other, that percentage of the total homicide rate continues to increase. And I believe right now we're at 9 of the 26 homicides were either domestic related or folks that were known to each other. And so she's taken the lead to really take a look at the resources and programs that are out there, what's working, what's not, and how we can do a better job of getting resources to folks that may be in a domestic violence situation before it escalates and there are, felonious assaults or homicides in place. But I don't know, Chiefs, anything you want to speak to on the DV front? Okay.
The suspect in last night's homicide was out on parole and had been charged with violent crimes in the past. We have seen situations like this before. How can we prevent this from happening again?
Well, we all have a role to play, and we continue to work with judges, both juvenile judges and the judges of the common pleas, and we need violent criminals kept off the street. And so, I'd encourage the community to speak out and talk about those things as well. Our officers are doing a great job getting violent people off the street. We need the help of prosecutors and judges to keep them off the street.
Just going off of that, you spoke about adding liaison officers to the Organized Crime Bureau.
Yes.
Would this be part of their job moving forward, looking for these people who are most likely to cause crimes?
Absolutely. Assistant Chief Bacher and I have a really robust relationship. Organized crime and patrol and investigative work collectively on almost most of our cases working together. And so we intelligence share. We've created a position where there's no silos. And so bringing his uniform officers into organized crime builds a better overall department. And it also sends those officers back into community with a renowned sense of a difference making in how they can use intelligence to gather information and permanently get these violent offenders off the street, but also close these drug houses down.
Share anything new about the Devil homicide last night?
I cannot. I know this is an active and fluid case. We do know that it was domestic related. I don't know if Assistant Chief Bacher, if you have anything.
I can just share that, and I think you all know this, that the 2 incidents that you referred to over the weekend and last night, suspects were arrested in close proximity and time frame from the incidents that occurred. That wouldn't happen without inner workings between our SWAT team, our investigators, our crime scene investigators, and maybe as importantly, the community. And so in each one of those cases, we had help from the community. So people came forward both calling in person to share information that helped with those investigations and apprehensions. 2 horrible incidents, both domestic related, and in May we have seen an increase in that. But I do want to point out that from our role in Columbus Division of Police, we are doing everything we can related to domestic violence, from the ACT DV program to our stop officers. And these are people that are committed to working with the community and reducing domestic violence. That is our end goal, reduce domestic violence in our community.
That small group of people who are committing all these crimes, a lot of them are kids. How do you get those kids to take part in these programs?
Chief?
That's a really good question. We've been working for the last 2 years with the juvenile judges. We've also went into the Ohio Department of Corrections and used data to track at what age does that group tend to reoffend. And so we've been working with Columbus Violence Reduction, Office of Violence Prevention, as well as our community stakeholders. As it mentioned earlier, we work with public health quite frequently. We work with Director Reese and Parks and Rec, and we're working collectively this is not an operation that the division can solve itself. We need all collaborative partners, but we also need our community. And I will tell you, this community over the last 5 years have shown us that once they believe in police legitimacy, they will give us what we need to be successful. And so those organizations are working with us every day to identify those markers that lead youth to violence. It's not rocket scientists. It's really just looking at the data, going into the schools, having those partnerships, and having those really frank conversations about what leads our kids down the stray. And I think we've done a good job as this community with the reduction that we've seen in violent crime. There's still work to do, as Chief Ryan has always said. One death is too many, but we are on the right trajectory to be the safest big city in the community. And so I want to keep that focus where it is.
OVP is going to go directly into neighborhoods impacted by gun violence to promote peace and offer resources. Can you tell me exactly what promoting peace looks like and what resources are going to be offered to people to seek them out?
Director Shack, do you want to come up and speak to that a little bit? So this is Director Rita Shack, who's our director of the Office of Violence Prevention. She can go into a little bit more detail about that. As she, since I just put her on the spot, I'll give her a second to collect her thoughts. The other thing I would mention too is the role the rest of the community plays with respect to domestic violence. We need faith leaders, community leaders, neighborhood leaders who see families that may be in crisis or seeing a situation that may be escalating within their congregation, within the neighborhood or the community. We need those leaders to step up and reach out to the Office of Violence Prevention and to other resources here in the community to help us de-escalate and make sure that family that may be in crisis get the resources they need to help us do this. You know, by the time the police are called to a domestic violence situation, oftentimes it is far too late. And so we need everybody to be the eyes and ears in helping us to bring down this scourge of domestic violence we're seeing here, and I know it's impacting cities across the country. Director?
Thank you, Mayor. Can you just repeat the question again so I can make sure I'm answering it correctly? Thank you.
You said the OVP is going directly into neighborhoods impacted by gun violence. What does promoting peace look like in these neighborhoods, and what kind of resources are being offered? Are people seeking these out, or are they just going into neighborhoods and offering these resources right to people?
Sure. So the main tenet of the work of the Office of Violence Prevention is not just providing resources, but really going to the community to find out what resources they need from the city. And so a main core work portfolio of an Office of Violence Prevention is what's called neighborhood stabilization. And this is a facet of that. And so we collect data every single day. We get data from the Columbus Division of Police as well as state and national data. And we follow that data. Everything our office does is data driven and evidence based. And this is just another example of that. And so we've chosen 6 neighborhoods. We'll learn more about that as the summer continues on. But we're planning what we're calling peace pop-ups in those neighborhoods. What we've seen in our 3 years of community engagement is that expecting community to come to us being government, us being community stakeholders, community-based organizations, is oftentimes unrealistic. And we're not getting the individuals that we want to help service because we're expecting them to come to us. And so this is an effort, another effort that the office is doing to go straight into the community. We've pulled homicide data as well as non-fatal shooting data to tell us which neighborhoods over the course of the last year have experienced the most violence, and we're strategically going into those neighborhoods. We're bringing the fun, essentially. So we're going to be hosting like a barbecue, a community pop-up where we can engage with the community. But in that engagement is that effort to find out exactly what resources we might be missing that that particular community is needing. It's easy for us to say what we think our residents need, but I always say the work of the Office of Violence Prevention cannot be for the residents of Columbus if it is not directly of the residents of Columbus. And so this is another effort of that. Talking about what peace means is just talking about how we can have healthy relationships with each other as neighbors, as friends, as coworkers, as the government to the citizens of the residents of Columbus. Going back to the domestic violence question, that's a facet that our office takes on very strongly. It's about healthy relationships. It's about de-escalation and conflict resolution so that it's not resorting to violence.
Oh, I was going to ask, I know you have 6 neighborhoods, you said. Do you know if the Short North is going to be part of that? That's a huge concern for summer months going forward.
The summer months are absolutely a concern for Short North. That's the area where most visitors and most tourism tend to happen. But we're really looking at data for the neighborhoods that have experienced the most non-fatal shootings and most homicides over the course of the last year. I don't believe the Short North would fall into either of those categories. I know there are other prevention and intervention services that are geared towards the Short North, but as far as the peace pop-ups themselves, we're really talking about community inundation here. We're going into the community where the community lives and is experiencing the violence.